Good morning and welcome to the Canopy Cafe on Tuesday, May 26th of this year. I hope everybody had a nice long holiday weekend and got to enjoy family, friends, and in whatever way is meaningful and safe to you. And so I appreciate you all joining us this morning after a long weekend. Sometimes it's hard to get back into the swing of things, but hopefully this conversation today will inspire us and get us talking about some wonderful work going on in our community and to re-engage our audiences and ready to tackle the week. And so for those of you who might be new to the Canopy Cafe, this is an attempt for Canopy to stay relevant with our audience and to carry on the conversations that we would typically have with business owners, community leaders, nonprofit executives that would come by the Canopy office in Portland. And we so miss having these conversations in person that we decided to do them digitally. And this is our effort to listen to community leaders and folks doing amazing work in our community about how they're adapting during these times, how they're showing up for people in our community during everything posed by the global pandemic. And also, a way for them to connect with our audience and their own and to really create some awareness about work being done and where people can go to continuously connect after the call. And today we are very fortunate to have a wonderful guest, Jane Pfeiffer, who is the founder and president of Fieldtrip, which is a branding web organization that is committed to building intelligent design-focused solutions for clients and their evolution in terms of how they create brand experiences that really generate the desired impact amongst their customers in terms of motivating and inspiring them to connect. And so we're very happy to welcome Jane this morning. So Jane, come on and join us. Good morning.
Good morning, Ben.
How are you?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing well. It was a nice weekend. So a lot of family time, and I'm really blessed to have my entire family here. So that's been a nice little surprise with all this mess that we're in. But, focus on that. It doesn't seem so bad.
Absolutely. I agree. And, I'm also fortunate to have my family in town, and it was my little nephew's second birthday over the weekend. And so, we showered him with all the love and the presents and even had a little drive-by party with all family members to stop by and wave, and even had a fire truck come in. So,
oh my gosh, he had to be thrilled.
he was so happy,
Yeah.
And it's definitely a silver lining amidst all of this is the extra time with family, and especially with that little dude. He's 2 and just has so much interaction with his closest family members. He's just on cloud 9. He gets to spend days during the week with his grandma and grandpa, and so it's a beautiful thing amidst crazy times.
Yeah. My son turned 20 yesterday, and my daughter 23. So mine are a little older, but still, it's great to have that celebration and be able to do it here with everybody home.
Absolutely. So tell us, in your own words, a little bit about who you are and your work at Fieldtrip.
Yeah, thanks. Fieldtrip, you did a really nice job setting up the agency, and so we're right on 4th Street, and but our clients are across the country, from the New York market to Nebraska and several points in between. And we really started as a traditional advertising agency, full service. And over the years, we've become more and more focused on branding and brand development, and then bringing that brand to life through advertising. So, right now we're using that expertise in this pandemic situation to really try and help our local neighbors, be it through different organizations or the like, but just, trying to help people realize that, yes, we all have a business that we're a part of, that we're trying to save or nurture or wonder what the heck's going to come next. And I think the one message that we've been focusing on is that now is the time that we have to think like business owners, but we really have to see our business from the consumer or the prospect's point of view, and less about what we tend tend to typically focus on. And at Fieldtrip, I mean, that's the premise of our name, is really, there's an area that we want to explore. And that exploration is so much richer when we go out and we learn and we listen and we look at things from different perspectives, and then come back and start thinking about, well, do we really even understand, is the business problem that maybe the prospect brought to us the right business problem to solve? How do we separate perception from reality? And then once we kind of push through all that, then we can sit down and have the brainstorming and the creative ideas that, advertising agencies are so well known for. But there's a lot of homework.
Absolutely. That's great. I so appreciate that approach, and it has to lead to amazing products that you ultimately create. And knowing some of the clients that you work with, just in perusing the website, I know I saw Heine Brothers, Biscuit Belly, and some others on there. And so as a fan of those organizations and the people that run them, I mean, it has to lead to such a wonderful impact.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd bring up the Heine Brothers Cup, because, our shared friends there, Mike and Chuck and the entire team, it was really, designing that cup was our first foray into really a design-led project. And wow, what a project to pick. A cup that walks around in hundreds, thousands of people's hands every morning, and has just become so easily recognizable. But that was a turning point for us. That and working with the Ale8 brand and helping them update it for the 4th generation ownership really kind of launched this new direction that we're headed in. And it's just so nice when you can see your work, physically enjoy it yourself, see it in the marketplace. There's something really special about that. So I'll always really appreciate Mike Mays and Chuck Schnatter for giving us that opportunity.
Wonderful. Well, I'm a big fan of their coffee and Mike and Chuck as well, and now the cups. I mean, they're so recognizable. Every time I see one, I know exactly. So it's very good work.
And it's gone to live on in their packaging and their van and so many other different forms. So it's nice that it has legs.
Absolutely. And so Fieldtrip recently published an article, Media in the COVID World, and you kind of began to discuss, how things are changing. And of course, we're all noticing these changes on a daily, almost hourly basis. So give us a little bit of insight into Fieldtrip's perspective on how media is showing up in this COVID world.
Yeah. I think, if I may, Ben, before I jump into media, just touch a bit on the mindset that then is informing the media.
Please.
We work with, a lot of retailers and advertisers across the country, and that has been the most fascinating thing for me to sit in on these weekly calls and see the difference by geography in terms of how different areas are dealing with this, what their mindset is. But at the end of the day, I challenge these licensees to think of themselves as either a sales organization, an operations organization, or a customer service. And, that's not a new statement from me. And so many of them will take sales and operations because that's their background. And when they think about customer service, they really think about problem solving and that customer service line. And it's just this kind of necessity. And what I'm trying to get them and any advertiser, B2B or B2C, to realize is that everything has to flip. Customer service can no longer be problem solving. It's about recognizing the customer and their needs and their wants first, and then realizing that the business follows it. Right. And so the way that's, showing up in media is both in the message and the format. So, media habits have changed. There's been a resurgence in some of the traditional forms like television. Of course, digital is here to stay, and that's changing as well, though, in terms of, the days and the hours of consumption and how we're exchanging information. And that, there's these different mindsets. We don't quiz me, but we've taken a look from research. There's about 6 different mindsets, and we're right in Louisville, I would say we're like right at the fourth. We're just getting ready to go on the fifth, where we start to, kind of go back out and assimilate. But, for the immediate future, for, years, this, who knows how long this kind of health is going to come first. And so, right now in that messaging and media, we don't want to be trite and talk about, the little details, because I think most consumers are giving businesses credit that we're going to do the smart things. But if they show up and a business isn't being careful or allowing their customer to be careful, then they're going to be penalized. That customer is not going to come back. And the rate of, the rate in which the bad news or the negative review spreads is exponential to what it used to be, because now it is much more personal. It is a matter of health. And so, getting people to realize, how do they greet the customer differently? And that starts with how they advertise and show up in their media. How does that message really inform the customer, but also inspire them too?
Absolutely. That's well said. And one of the central tenets to the good business movement that Canopy is working on is transparency with organizations, and really maintaining that, especially during these difficult times. It's always been important, but to your point, we see that becoming more and more important to consumers right now, because safety is an issue. And so tell us a little bit about how you help organizations articulate a transparent dialogue with their consumers.
Well, the first place they have to start is transparency with their own team.
Right.
Because if there's something that's amiss, or something is a cosmetic safety protocol, but the employees don't feel it,
right,
then everything's going to fall down. Because the moment that customer comes in and asks a question, or that employee, shares that they're nervous, they want to keep their job, but they're not ready to be here, I mean, it all falls apart. So that transparency has to start with inside, and focusing on, what the employee means to the business, that we're here to do it together, that we're here to be smart. Because I understand, especially in a retail or consumer facing business, chances are most people are trying to recoup lost dollars. Many of those dollars will never get that opportunity to recapture. So how do we get, really aggressive right now? And the sooner we return to kind of old habits, the more risk we're taking. And so, yes, we've got to be ready to grab every opportunity, but we also have to be transparent about how we're getting ready for that opportunity with our employees and our customers. And then they'll consider us.
Absolutely. And you're so right. It starts internally, and is definitely something that's important externally as well, as people are representing your company and interacting with potential consumers. You're spot on. And that's one of the key components to the Canopy certified program, which is a balanced approach that does look at internal metrics as well as external, how you're living this balanced approach to operationalizing your good. And we're so proud to have Fieldtrip as a letter of intent company with the Canopy certified program. And so my question to you, in your words, what does good business mean to you?
We've always tried to come up with our own, phrase about how it plays out. People, profit, planet. We've talked about fun, fame, and fortune. Can we have fun doing the work? Can we, a lot of our projects, haven't been profitable, but we've been able to do it for the right reasons. And it always turns out to bring in some type of profitable opportunity. And so how do we get known for that? Not, celebrity famous, but just that good work breeds good work, and good opportunities and taking care of people, clients, and employees opens more doors. And if we do that first, then the profit will come. There are days where it's really hard to believe that.
Sure.
I look at, I guess, the stereotypical business owner, and there's this, confidence and assurance that, I think most people project. And I rarely feel that way. Maybe I project it as well, but knowing that, you know, by and large, if we stick with what makes us feel good and feel like it's right, I'll take that any day over having, yeah, a really humongous profit, but not um, being I don't know, removed, because then that's making a judgment, but just knowing that it might have to come at the compromise of creating some of the appreciation and love that I have for my team and the clients that we serve. If I don't have that, then no amount of profit is going to make what we do worthwhile.
Right. That's well said. And I agree with you. I think it's a journey that you never necessarily find the end to. You're just always striving to be better as you learn more, and I think that as business owners and employees, whomever it might be, find out how we can show up in new and different ways that do make an impact, for people and the planet, then I think a natural byproduct of that is increased success in whatever form that you're looking for. If it's a business, then I think consumers are becoming more and more conscious of how companies are operating, and it's less of an interest, more of a demand these days that anybody that they're working with kind of has this heightened intentionality. And so, did you have a point there?
Well, I just think that ties a lot back to your point about transparency, in that as business leaders, even showing our own vulnerability and the fact that we don't know what's coming next, and here's what we're trying to do, but we may fail, but we have the right intentions. I think, again, that can be some of the good that comes out of it, and I've definitely seen it, but I hope that it doesn't go away anytime soon.
Absolutely. You're spot on with that. It's a courageous act to admit when you're, not sure, and and owning mistakes, or discussing how to move forward. I think that's courageous in all the ways. And so, what do you see as the opportunities right now for both your business and, the good business movement in general?
Yeah, great question. I think I can tie it up with the same thing that we started, in terms of just look outside. Keep fresh eyes. Don't assume that what was true remains today. We get caught up thinking about our business as being the hero of the journey, to borrow the brand approach. But really, it's not us. We're here as business people, as brands, to be the mentor to our customers and clients that are on a journey. And we're here to make that journey a little better, make them a better version of themselves, give them confidence, fulfill a need, whatever that might be. But that we're part of the path, not the solution or the promise or even the prize at the end of the road. And when you look at it that way, you think about your business a little differently, and then you can think about your peers, other business owners, whether they're in the same category or not. How can you support them? How can you help them think differently, create new ideas, and just, if nothing else, a bit of camaraderie that, we're all trying to figure it out, and, being transparent.
Absolutely. I love the metaphor of the path. We incorporate that in our discussions almost daily at Canopy, and that's truly what it is. To what we were talking about earlier, it's the path and continuous improvement. And I really love your point as well about the impact that you can have on your peers, whether it's other business owners or friends, family, whatever it might be. And I think in exhibiting these traits in various regard is what leads to others adopting it more and more, and it's super important. And that's what we're trying to facilitate, and that's what why we're so glad to have you and companies like yours signed up to go through this, because you are that influential voice that I think can help businesses understand that this is not only the right thing to do, in terms of people and planet and the future, but it's also the pertinent business decision, right? As we see more and more that it just makes business sense. So Jane, Canopy is doing this work in Kentucky, and it's where we're getting started. We have visions of becoming more well known in smaller markets all over the place. I think there's such a need for accessibility to the good business movement. And as somebody who does business in our state and beyond, tell us what you think about this good business movement in Kentucky, and why are you excited about it?
Well, I can tell you I'm excited because I'm a part of two different performance groups. One that is created for a client group of ours, and then one is agency owners. And in both groups, I've taken Canopy as a best practice, and in terms of what they need to be thinking about in terms of running their business differently. So I'm very proud to say that Kentucky is having this type of initiative. It's not that we originated it, but that it's being made accessible in such a more business-friendly way, in a way that is, well, the brand, thank you to our good friends at Bullhorn, sets it up in a way that it can readily have consumer value as well as business value. So, anytime I can brag on Kentucky, I'll take it. So thanks for giving me that opportunity.
Absolutely. We do love our home state, and it's, married to the statistics that we typically see associated with Kentucky, that we can really position businesses to combat these and to supplement work being done in nonprofits, governmentals, entities and things like that. And then also to make Kentucky stand out in this way. To me, that's awesome. Lifelong Kentuckian here. I would just love for this to be one of the things that we become known for, in addition to horse racing, bourbon, and basketball.
I'm right there with you.
which are great things. I love all those things, but what's the next thing? This should be it. This will be it.
Right. Yeah. And everybody has to love that idea.
I think so. So we're working hard over here, and I know you are too. So anybody tuning in, do you have a place that you would like to direct folks, Jane, if they're interested in doing business with you, if they're looking for opportunities, where can they go?
Yeah, so you can always, contact us through our website, wearefieldtrip.com. And then also, one of the documents that I've shared with you, Ben, is we've been doing a lot of workshops about how to create and build a stronger brand. So I put the worksheets that we use. So those are readily available. However you share information with your listeners, we welcome them to kind of follow along. But happy to hear from everyone, whether they're a prospect or just have a question and need a piece of advice.
Perfect. Well, Jane, I'll offer the opportunity for closing remarks before we part ways.
Wow. Yeah, happy to be here, and love what we do, and love the team that I get to work with every day, and that we're in part of a community that we all are proud to call home. I don't have anything more romantic than that. That's about the best I can do.
That was wonderful. Well, Jane, thank you so much for stopping by the Canopy Cafe this morning.
Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah, of course. And we'll be in touch soon, and hopefully I get to see you in person before too long. Virtually is cool, but in person's better.
That sounds great.
Okay. Take care, Jane. All right, everybody. That was Jane Pfeiffer with Fieldtrip, and we will do our best to offer some of the information that she mentioned in terms of accessing some of the expertise that they have at Fieldtrip, and also you can find out more by visiting their website. So Fieldtrip is a Canopy letter of intent company, meaning that Jane and her team all believe in the work of Canopy, that businesses should show up for people, our planet, and our future. And we're so proud to have them on the list. As you can clearly see, they exhibit so many of the positive traits that we are attempting to grow in Kentucky and beyond. Before we part ways here today, I do want to offer a couple opportunities if anybody is interested in getting involved. The first of which is the Charter for Good Business. Canopy is trying to generate 1,000 signatures for the Charter for Good Business. And it simply means that you as an individual, as a business owner, as a nonprofit employee, you believe in the principles that are exhibited in the Canopy certified program and with Canopy's work in general, that businesses should be good and that they should positively impact people, our planet, and our future. And all that you need to do is sign your name to it, and that's it. We're just trying to collect signatures. It's super easy. You can go to canopyky.org to sign the Charter for Good Business, and we would greatly appreciate your support. And lastly, I would be remiss as the Director of Development for Canopy if I did not suggest the opportunity to donate to Canopy's mission. We are a startup nonprofit organization, and as you can imagine, donations, tax-deductible donations are very important to our work. And you can donate to our cause by visiting canopyky.org/donate or texting to give at the number you see below. That about wraps us up for the Canopy Cafe following Memorial Day weekend. So thank you all for tuning in. I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday weekend. Thank you to our service members for your service in support of our country. And I hope to see everybody soon. We'll be back tomorrow with Mackie McNeil. Mackie is a business owner in Northern Kentucky, owns Mackie Advisors, Prosperity People, and is doing amazing work in terms of financial literacy and access to supportive financial programs for business owners. So we'll be glad to have Mackie tomorrow at 10 a.m. So tune in. Take care, everybody.